Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Jane and my husband Mike does everything behind the camera. We're British early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage and we live a thrifty, frugal, money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Sunday we share with you an aspect of our private lives, the things that we do personally to be thrifty, the things that we personally do to save money. And this week we're going to share with you some concerns that we have about a worsening economy, or the worst case scenario that the economy could continue to worsen, and it's kind of looking that way. And what we're going to share with you are practical ways that we people with low incomes can kind of help ourselves, kind of brace ourselves against this. Let's get started. Let's start by talking about building a basic emergency fund. Now, most of us frugal people are budgeters. We budget every single month, and we budget to put money away into sinking funds, which are short-term savings that we build over time to pay for the bills that we're going to have this year. Car maintenance, car tyres, Christmas, birthdays, dental trips, all of those things that you know are going to happen within this year. And then we put aside long-term savings for things that we might be saving up for. Maybe where you live, it might be a new heating system, a new air conditioning system, new furniture, new car in the future, things that you're going to save for long-term. But it's also really important to have an emergency fund. And if you have no savings at all, it is the very, very best place to start. And it doesn't matter how much you put aside each month. If you want to build up a good emergency savings, that savings should cover a month's bare bones living expenses. Would it pay the mortgage? Would it pay the rent? Would it pay for the gas, the electricity, the food? Would it put fuel in the car? Would it pay for the children's bus fares to get to school? Your bare bones budget. So that's the kind of figure that you need to aim for. But in the first instance, having 100 put away, having 200, then 300 and 400 or 500 put away, until you get to that month's figure, is it really is a really excellent thing to do. And it just creates that kind of buffer, a little bit of security, because we know rainy days are ahead of us, and having a rainy day emergency fund is really important. And you might think to yourself, well, how can I get started on this, Jane? And this is what I always suggest to people. If you have anything you don't need, you don't want, you don't wear, you don't like, sell it. Start selling things really, really enthusiastically, and use all of that money, stick it in a jam jar to begin with, and when you've got, a few hundred saved up, then take it to the bank and bank it. Take out a separate account for this if you possibly can, if it doesn't cost you anything. And sometimes in some banks you can have different saving pots in there in your savings account, and then you can start one and you can just call it your emergency fund. And that emergency fund is not for Christmas, it's not for birthdays, it's not for having your hair done, it's not for meals out. That is for things that are you couldn't predict, that you didn't know were coming up. So there's your first one, because when times are hard, it's really important to build an emergency fund. Next one is all about building a pantry, or building a stockpile, or building up the essentials in your home. And this is where each week that you go shopping, I want you to think about and one more. What is something that you could squeeze into your budget and one more tin of tuna, one more packet of toilet rolls, one more bottle of shampoo, one more item for the children in the future. Could be a pair of socks, it could be some underwear. One more thing, and build up your supply of your non-perishable food items and your items that you use around your house, those essential things around your house. The other thing about stockpiling as well, especially if you've got children, is to know, it is April, but Christmas is going to happen. and starting to either put money aside, or if you're not very good at not spending that money, start buying those little bits and pieces each month, something else each month for Christmas that you put away. A board game, put it away. A book and put it away. A pair of slippers for Christmas and put them away. Start doing that now. Start knowing now in advance of what's going to happen in your children's school. If you don't know, phone the school. So within your school calendar for the rest of this school year, could you tell me the events and what's going to happen? Because you may have missed that information. There may be a school WhatsApp group, there may be a school website. Go on there and look for those things and anticipate in advance the things that are going to cost you money. So that's really important. Building a stockpile of food, building a stockpile of non-food items in your house, building a stockpile for the children, and building a stockpile of knowledge, things that you're going to need to fund for your children throughout the school year. Whenever we know the economy is going to get worse, and it is going to get worse, people are going to get poorer, people might lose jobs, there's definitely going to be layoffs. You know, it's going to have a massive impact on all of us. And the next thing that I suggest that we all do is we absolutely ruthlessly look at all of our fixed costs. Absolutely everything. Can you get a cheaper phone deal? Can you get a cheaper internet deal? Can you look at all of your things that you consume? You consume electricity, you consume water, you consume gas, you consume food. Can you cut back a percentage of that all of the time? Because you are going to need that spare money, whether that spare money goes into building your emergency fund, or that spare money goes into building your essential stockpile of non-perishable food or non-food items for your house. And that is where the money comes from, to give you that flexibility to put the money into your emergency fund, or put that money into your savings fund, or aggressively pay down any debt that you've got. If you're about to lose a job or get your hours cut or your pay cut, you do not want to have debt. You want to have some savings to build up. So there's my next piece of advice. And I think this is something that frugal people do all of the time. And I think we're seeing more and more people do in their daily lives, is they are really aggressively, ruthlessly cutting back anything. And that goes for all non-essential spending. Anything that's not an essential, can you find a cheaper way of doing it? If you like to go out for lunch and you go out for lunch once a week, can you find somewhere that's got a deal? Can you find somewhere that is it cheaper to eat out on a Monday than a Friday? Can you find a way to do it cheaper? So whatever it is, if it's non-essential, either do less of it or find a way to do it cheaper. Number 4, and I think this is so vitally important. It is all about strengthening your own community ties. Are you part of anything that you are active with in your community? Are you part of a fundraising group? Are you part of a faith organisation? Are you part of a charity? If you are not, be so. Can you help at a local food bank? Can you help on a crisis line? Can you help visiting old people? Can you help in a community garden? Can you help at a local school? Can you put yourself into the community? Because right now the community needs you and you need your community. If you need help, ask for it. If you need help from food pantries or from food banks, this is not the time to feel proud. It is not at all. If you need help with knowledge and understanding of where to get help, that's when you need your tribe, you need your village, and you need your community. And if you're like me, and for example, you really know that in the hardest of hard times, it is animals who get thrown out, who get dumped, who get maltreated, And, you know, people that I know within my community group are doing all that we can at the moment to raise money for animals, because in the hardest of times, they take it really badly. My fifth and final piece of advice to anybody who is on a low income, who really needs to sort of help themselves in these hard times, it is to improve on your basic skills. Improve on your cooking skills. Improve on your food storage skills. Improve on your home maintenance skills. Can you clean out your vacuum cleaner? Can you clean out all the filters? Can you clean out all the filters at the back of your fridge freezer? All the filters that are in your washing machine and in your dryer? Do you know how to turn the electricity off at the mains? Do you know how to get into the air extraction system in your house and clean out the filters? Do you know how to clean out all the filters and the ducting from your tumble dryer? All of these things that you might pay people to do, that if you can do yourselves, all of that money can go into that extra food supply that you want to store, those extra household supplies you want to store, that extra money that you want to put into your emergency fund. Are you currently paying someone to cut your grass? If you're physically able, but you just don't want to do it, but could you do it? Do you pay someone to clean your car, to detail your car? If you're physically able to do it, could you do it? You might not want to do it, but could you do it? Could you think how often you pay someone to do that? How much does that cost? And then the multiples of that you don't pay for. Do you pay someone to clean your house? Are you physically able to do it? You might not want to do it, but could you do it? Do you pay someone to deliver your food? Are you physically able to do it? And notice I'm saying physically able. If you are physically unable to do these things, you can't do it. Don't feel bad about it. And it's the way it is. I'm sorry that, it might come across that I'm suggesting that suddenly all of a sudden you're going to be able, but not. I'm stating this. If you are physically able, can you do these things and save yourself the money? And this is where you're going to get that money from if you are paying for any of these things. Do you go out and eat because you're not a very good cook? Can you work on those skills to improve your cooking so you actually like what you cook at home? There's number 5. So there we go. 5 ways that low-income individuals can prepare themselves for a worsening economy. We can't start selling condominiums or holiday homes or flog off that flat in Dubai or that, house that we've got down in Florida or that second home that we've got in Biarritz. We can't just liquidate our assets. We're not in that position. But we can gird our loins and do what we can. And I gave you 5 suggestions there. And I'm going to hand this over to you now. If you can think of any more ways that any of us with low incomes can assume brace position against a worsening economy, drop us a comment below, because we appreciate every single one of your comments. And we will see you on the next video. Bye for now.